spontaneously. You know, in the past I've given myself notes or written up a talk first, but more often than not I tend to just give what Spirit brings in the moment. And I do want to start off today, and I was given this during the week and remembered again this morning, so she's totally around, which is why I put on a lovely scarf. I want to dedicate today to Kayla Shea, our dear friend. Might shed a little tear there and feel her energy so strongly. I'm sure many of you know Kayla, and I felt during the week it was important that I mention her, and I dedicate this day to her. And I do feel her strongly with me now. Goodness, you know me, I don't cry too easily, so I've been getting really hot. So I feel like Kayla is really wanting to say hello to all of you and bring her love and her beautiful grace through to you all. So please take that, okay? So I'll just right. Because my history with Kayla is, we all have some history, I assume. Goes back a long way. Mine not as long as many people, but it goes back a fair way. And, you know, I work as a medium and psychic and do all the things, you know, as many do. I am a numerologist, and you know Kayla was the numerologist of numerologists, you know, numbers, everything, and I was lucky enough to sit with her a decade or so ago and upgrade my numerology into something different. She assisted me with her own personal learnt teachings from higher wisdom of numerology, and she shared it. And I keep those notes precious today, but for me, you know, it took off for me from then. It became my true world and unlocked all that passion in me about the importance of number, because, you know, God speaks to us in number. Number is all, number is everything. Of course, number, what we call number, is a frequency. And I wanted to mention today, through the energy and guidance of Kayla, about the importance of understanding. You know, here we are on Zoom because we can't all gather together. The importance of understanding a little bit why, because this is the year 2020. Some of you probably know a bit about numerology. In the spiritualist field, we tend to put our little fingers in all sorts of pies, don't we? But 2020 is the 22 energy, and this is the true and utter energy of the divine feminine. And the feminine in that high, you know, almost goddess self, if you want to speak about it in that way, is the ruler of chaos. So as we have chaos reigning all over our planet, this is for our growth, for new beginnings. It's giving us a firmament to build on with flexibility, to bring change, to find that nurturing, that compassion, that wisdom and that understanding deep within us in what is coming to many as fear, you know, misunderstanding, no understanding. It's bringing up all sorts of, I call them blessings, the cross between a lesson and a blessing. It's bringing up all sorts of lessons in all of us individually, from our little microcosm selves to the bigger picture, to our families, to our communities, to our state. And now look, we're all divided here in Australia. Our states are divided, like going on, you know. And to the countries around the world, the planet, where I'm sure we've all got friends and loved ones around this planet. And so it might seem like the great divide, but its motive is to bring us all together, to release ego, to release all these things, and to work together as a global unit to create something better, to look at our imprint, to understand ourselves, to maybe be so wrapped up in fear that all we can do is find our way out of it. And so this is the energy of 2020. So it's no mistake. It's nothing bad coming to get us. It's a gift. And it's a gift from Spirit, and Spirit is with us all the time. And that I have felt very lucky and blessed to have that understanding, which I've had for many, many years. My grandparents were spiritualists, so my Nana told me the story back in the 1940s when she was a young mum, and she was sitting at the table, like I am, sitting at my kitchen table, and she was a little bit of a worrywart about her kids, very mothery, very overprotective. But she sat there, she told me that she sat, it would have been maybe 1942, 43, 44, and she sat at her table and she just said, for whatever reason she was worried about her 3 eldest girls off to school. Must have been some reason, I don't know. I guess it was after the war years and everything. And she said, "Oh, please, Spirit, if you're really there, please show me. I just need to really know so I can work with this and know that my girls are safe and whatever." And she sat there and she said that quite visibly with her human eyes as well as her spiritual senses, she said a hand appeared. Oh, getting a chill. A hand appeared and it placed itself over hers. And from then on, she was a spiritualist. And that's how I grew up, knowing that. She went to class every Tuesday and Thursday night, from always till she was like 90-something. And that was that. So I've grown up with the importance of understanding that. And I've also grown up, not always on the path myself. I had a normal life, on and off, but I've always known and I've always seen. So, I guess that psychicness came to me and it runs through the family. So I didn't have to discover it. But it's given me the gift of knowing and feeling and understanding that Spirit is always there. So we're not alone. And it's like in the worst times or the hardest times to understand, you're shown so much. We are all being shown so much. So if we can use, especially as we are all on here, we're involved in this, connecting with the spirit world, we should use that gift within to understand that we can reach out. We can perhaps see a little bit more than maybe people that are unaware and unintroduced to that are able to see. We can help them with it because we must know that Spirit does not leave us, that this isn't something bad happening to us, that they're with us and it must be a reason because nothing ever happens randomly. Nothing ever happens to the humans on earth incarnate to have this huge experience without a good reason. So I believe it's for our growth and understanding the number patterns. I know that it's to find the love and compassion and growth and everything I said, and it'll get us through because as we go into next year, 2021, it will be a great change. And we will look around and we'll say, actually I do feel a little bit more empowered and there's been a lot of stuff happen, but in my personal self, maybe I've gained some wisdom that I didn't have before and some understanding. And maybe it's given me an opportunity to not be isolated, well, it feels that way, but to go within, to retreat within, to have time to really connect with Spirit, to see the things that I miss in my busy life. To put into work, to do some extra meditation or sit in the power and communicate and write and channel and do all the things that maybe we're generally too busy to do. Now we've got all the time in the world to do it. It's a gift in that way. And we can still have the normal bits. We can still be worried. We can still be scared. We can still, believe, not believe, watch the news, not watch the news, have good discussions, whatever. But maybe take that time to know, okay, Spirit, giving me this extra time and space with you, so I think I'll really let you in, and maybe it's a time to go back, to remember, to understand, to review. I opened a few books that I've got hanging around. Growing up feeling like White Eagle was my grandfather, and my grandfather was a deep trance channel. We used to sit in circle and like he was a deep trance channel, he would speak. And she would take notes. And that happened to Andrew and I, if you don't know, that he's my other half. And I'm down here and he's up there, but it's still there. And Andrew's a deep trance channel. And it happened for us. And then I said, well, there you go. And Andrew would have White Eagle come through who he knew nothing about. I didn't feed him any information. I didn't tell him. And he would, in the middle of the night, he would just start to talk. And I knew White Eagle's teachings. He didn't. And so I was verbally taught more and given years of information through Andrew in the middle of the night thinking he was down to sleep. But I was very lucky it was White Eagle. So I had felt their energy and pulled myself back out of the busyness in order to reconnect with these great wisdom keepers, White Eagle, Silver Birch, who you all know, and whoever you feel drawn to. You can pick up a book or anything and almost know that Spirit's coming with it, and it's their way of giving you the words. So I thought I'll pick a few out of the little bookcase I've got over there and just have a little sniff. What did I see before? Oh, here it is. And I just thought I'll open randomly, which is never really randomly, is it? And it's a reminder from White Eagle. It says, cultivate a sense of, oh, this is Why on Earth, cultivate a sense of humour and gaiety. It is all too easy in human relationships to make mountains out of molehills. And I guess from the spirit world, but they're looking down thinking, oh, well, look, you're all making a giant mountain out of a molehill, for goodness sake. And to take small threats too seriously. Our daily struggles and irritations are highly transient when viewed in the light of eternity. And that's something so important to remember, that this is only that much time in our little lives that are that much time. We've got all of eternity, so we should make the most of every moment, not just the ones we think are good. Because these are the ones that give us the most growth, which is why we came to incarnate on this planet in the first place. In India, it is believed that the soul reincarnates 840,000 times. I hope not. This may or may not be true, but certainly it takes many, many life experiences before the Christ spirit within achieves mastery over the outer worldly man and over the physical body and its environment. Laughter and a sense of fun ease the journey for ourselves and our companions. Nature is full of laughter, sunlight on the water, the frolics of the wind, the exuberance of the young creatures, even though sometimes these capers may be in the face of danger. All these illustrate the gaiety and courage of natural life. There is nearly always a funny side to the karmic situations, and karma, K-A-R-M-A, is a mark in time in your life. It's a point of learning. It's a blessing. Hello. My dog's home from his walk. There is always nearly a funny side to the karmic situations in which we find ourselves training ourselves to see this will lighten the load and help us to keep a sense of proportion. Needless to say, any kind of mockery or ridicule of others is in quite a different category and has nothing to do with that sense of merriment, which is part of the courage of a soul facing adversity, which we are at this time. So we must remember to, although, we're experiencing and feeling and thinking about things very differently, we must find that loving kindness within, that beautiful metta, that energy that comes to not just poke fun at it, not be cruel, not be unkind. This is the time where we really need to dig deep and find that. And so that mentioned reincarnation. Funnily enough, the first book I picked up was Reincarnation, so I didn't know it said that. I hadn't read it till I read it then. This book was one of my nanas, Phyllis L. Dowsett. She used to write, please return this book to be up above the dress, and have her address written there, just in case. This is Reincarnation by Thea Stanley Hughes. And I opened that. And which bit did I want to see? Now, examples of effects. If large numbers made the change from taking it for granted that they are only here once to consider reincarnation seriously, even as a possibility, what would be the effect of all this? It seems to me that it would make a difference to the tempo of life, to our attitude, to our environment, to our attitude to our experiences, and to our relationship to all other human beings. So I think there's a little bit of a theme coming. And the third one I picked up, a White Eagle one, or Whitey as we call him, don't we, Andrew? Spiritual Unfoldment number 4. And it says, remember that the purpose of your life is to grow. First of all, in self-consciousness, then in group consciousness, consciousness of the whole brotherhood of life. You have sometimes expressed in meditation the intense joy felt in the realization of this spiritual brotherhood, which of course is the true spiritual communion or development of the soul toward awareness of the needs of those around it. In the same degree as the individual progresses, so collectively the whole race approaches this point of brotherhood and awareness. Then instead of perpetual warfare and strife, the brotherhood of angels and of men will have become a living reality. So I just picked those randomly. No, not randomly, under guidance, off the shelf, opened the page and I didn't read them until then. I feel Spirit will always give us what we need to hear. They are with us. They are looking after us. They are keeping us as safe as possible. We must remember, nothing happens unless it is supposed to. You will not get sick unless you are supposed to. You will not die unless you are supposed to. You will not have great things, good things, mediocre things, terrible things happen unless you are supposed to. How it unfolds is up to you and your personal journey and the choices that you make. I do have one more and I feel like I'm being drawn. Dear Paramahansa Yogananda. Everybody know about him, I guess. Autobiography of a Yogi. When I was 19, I read this and it changed it gave me that introduction and energy into meditation and that philosophy of thought. And I've got my finger on a page. Let me see what he has to say. I feel that they all work together because the beauty is that Spirit has no judgment like we humans. Spirit doesn't say you're this religion, you're this culture, you're a spiritualist, you're not, you don't believe anything, you believe too much. They just work together and they come through in so many ways, shapes, forms, energies, meanings, messages that we're just so blessed. If we can turn to this now and just remember that, that's what's going to get us through. That's what's going to help us with this huge growth into the chaos of Divine 22, which is so the most powerful gift we could receive, even though we wish it wasn't there. Let's have a look. All right, this is a little, I'll read this for whatever reason. No man, oh, okay. What about, yes, okay. No man's body is precious. It has the highest evolutionary value because of unique brain and spinal centres. These enable the advanced devotee fully to grasp and express the loftiest aspects of divinity. No lower form is so equipped. It is true that a man incurs the debt of a minor sin if he is forced to kill an animal or any other living thing, but the body shastras teach that wanton loss of a human body is a serious transgression against the karmic law. I siding the left, says Yogananda. Spiritual reinforcement of one's natural instincts is not always forthcoming. Master, so far as I know, was never at close quarters with a leopard or a tiger, but a deadly cobra once confronted him only to be conquered by his love. And it's not about the beliefs or the karma, it's about finding that love and understanding that all perhaps those fears, those things that are going on, whether we agree with what the government's doing, whether we don't, whether we feel we're being unfairly kept, fairly kept, whatever our thoughts, and we're allowed to change our minds and our thoughts and shift and grow through all this. Remember that. But what's going to overcome all of it is the power of love, because love, L-O-V-E, is in the word evolve. We cannot evolve without love. We cannot have a true revolution of spirit, of mind, of body, of humanness without love. To evolve as love. It's all about love, L-O-V-E. And of course, that word love is the word live, it's the word veil, word evil too. All these words are one little frequency, because each letter is a frequency, is a numeric value, and they make the words. And then you can turn them all around and see other things in them and realise that the basis of all is just love. I think I'm nearly done. I think that's about, I've got about 2 minutes left. Once again, I want to, is it all right if I draw, I've got a card here. I might draw us a card for the day and just see what Spirit would like to say. And these are the feather heart. And remember, heart, the word heart, is the word earth. H-E-A-R-T, E-A-R-T-H. So let's ask Spirit for a little message. Beautiful. A little message to finish off that. And this says, I am forgiving. That's probably the hardest thing to do. But the biggest things that happen to you give you the most power to forgive. So we can forgive each other, we can forgive COVID, we can forgive everybody and everything. And let's just see what that says. And I'll quickly read it out as soon as I find it. 1 second. Find the card. Right, forgive. Sometimes it's hard to find forgiveness. Oh, I am forgiving. Number 28, and that's a 1. That comes to a very powerful 1, 28, because it comes from the 2, compassion, and the 8, to heal. And compassion and healing, you have to forgive, and you have to feel to heal. So I'll just read out a little bit of this. I am forgiving. Oh, Ho'oponopono, have you heard of that? It's the ancient Hawaiian healing method. It's the Hawaiian practice which is believed to have been passed down through oral tradition, through wisdom keepers from days gone by. Ho'oponopono says, I love you, forgive me, I'm sorry, thank you. I love you, forgive me, I'm sorry, thank you. I don't need to read the book for that. I've known it for a long time and we use it. And by doing words of humility and grace, if you want to use the Ho'oponopono, I love you, forgive me, I'm sorry, thank you. That can change the world within you and the world around you. Words of humility and grace. I'm forgiving. The divine architecture of experience, in that perhaps there are no mistakes, only lessons. To maintain a sense of divine harmony, remember to embody the ideal of forgiveness through tenderness, mercy, humility and gratitude. Keep a feather heart by forgiving and letting go of the density of anger and judgment. A scale is best balanced with light and love. So I feel like Spirit just wanted to give you that message. They're always there. Everything is meant to happen that's happening. We're doing very well. We're not alone. Forgive yourself. Forgive everything else and everybody else, whether you agree with them, disagree with them, and find love in every situation. And I will leave you. Thank you.